In tonight's Ask Anthony, a Navy veteran says the dream home he bought after retiring from the military turned into a nearly 3-year ordeal with sewage, mold, termite damage, and tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected cost. He says he had a VA loan, a home inspection, and professional real estate representation, but believes important problems with the property were never disclosed. Tonight, I'm taking a closer look at what he says went wrong and what you should know before buying a home. Why did you guys fall in love with this home?
I actually have goats and chickens and stuff like that. And I told the wife the only way I was moving back to a subdivision, if there was no HOA, I could bring my goats with me.
Ryan Curley thought he had found his family's forever home, 1 acre in a quiet neighborhood in Callahan. He says the house, built in 1990, was marketed as completely remodeled, with renovated bathrooms and kitchen, new appliances, and new flooring. But just weeks after moving in, Curley says the first warning sign appeared.
Within a month and a half of living here, we discovered water coming up through the laminate flooring.
Curley says multiple leak detection companies were brought in. He says workers pulled up flooring, revealing mold and mildew across much of the house.
In the bags full of junk.
Curley says what they found next was even more troubling.
And I can draw the bags. A little bag full of garbage. Oh my gosh.
He says contractors opened roughly 45 to 50 feet of concrete slab and discovered an open sewer line.
We figured out the water that was coming through that we were finding was literally raw sewage water spreading underneath the flooring throughout the entire house.
Curley says repairs were made, but the problems returned.
I got water everywhere.
He says the family later discovered more damage behind the walls, including termite damage and what he describes as structural problems. How frustrating has this been for you? I mean, at one point you guys were living in a rented RV in your driveway.
Yes, sir. We lived in an RV for 2 months in the driveway. We've lived in multiple Airbnbs. We've moved, including moving back in about 6 or 7 times since January.
Curley says he and his wife have spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to make their new home livable again. He says insurance covered some water damage, but not the termite damage.
Ballpark estimation, we're $55,000, $60,000 out of pocket ourselves.
I took the details of Curley's case to Tara Hubbard, broker owner of Radiant Realty and a member of the Northeast Florida Builders Association. It's hard to prove what a seller knows and what they didn't know.
It is very hard to prove. When you're buying a home that's not brand new, there's always gonna be something. And then when you move in a home, there's always gonna be more things that you find from living in a home.
She says one of the first things she would investigate with a renovated home is the permit history, because it shows what work was actually inspected and signed off on by the county, not just what a seller says was done. Curley says the purchase contract included a property disclosure section about unpermitted improvements or repairs. This is the document, and you can see that line was left blank.
They pulled a permit for windows, right. So they did window replacement.
Curley says county records he found on his own showed permits for an electrical panel and windows, but not for the extensive remodeling he says was performed. I later confirmed those records myself through a source with knowledge of the permitting process in Nassau County. Hubbard says buyers should always look closely at the workmanship of a property and bring in more than one set of eyes.
If it's a renovation, I'm gonna bring in my contractor to look it over behind somebody in addition to that home inspector. I'm gonna make sure that my home inspector is thorough, that if it's a crawl space, they're going in that crawl space. We're suiting up and we're going in together if we have to. I've done it.
Hubbard recommends requesting something very specific from the seller, a written list of upgrades which can tell you where to dig deeper and perform a closer inspection.
Was it just a shower head changed out? Did we just do a little bit of tile work? In this case, it seems the toilet may have been moved and everything just moved all around.
And that brings us back to Curley's home. He says the bathrooms were completely renovated, and he later discovered plumbing and structural issues he believes were hidden behind those renovations. What would be the perfect resolution for you in this situation?
We're going to be out of this money for years to come. My kids will be out of high school by the time we can actually recover from this. So I'm hoping that they'll take ownership and kind of help pay back for some of the damages and the heartache that they put us through.
And Ryan Curley has hired an attorney, and he says attorneys for both sides have exchanged correspondence about resolving the dispute. No although no lawsuit has been filed yet. I did reach out to the other parties involved, including the real estate agent in the sale. She declined to comment. I also reached out to the seller's attorney, who declined to comment, citing the ongoing dispute. And we'll continue to seek answers and update this story if we receive new information. Remember, if you have a problem you just can't solve, you can always email me at askanthony@firstcoastnews.com.